If this is a movie, then it should be called The Place Beyond the Pines, because we are up here and we can see the pines and we can see the beautiful track of Tor Poznań. Welcome to Poland. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Round number 3. It's the first time in history, and this will be the first FIA Championship taking place here in Poland at Tor Poznań. Everyone is so kind welcoming us, and we already have one race in the books, and right now we are ahead of race number 2 with a reverse grid. We will explain this later to do. Right now I'm just dealing with my... I'm afraid of heights, to be honest, but I will turn around to enjoy this beautiful view. As you can see, the trucks will make their way up to the racetrack, and we're so excited to see this and everyone out here. And we do provide you, of course, with lots of highlights. Let's have a look at highlights of the race number 1.
Yes, indeed, the first race of the weekend already completed here at Tor Poznań. It's incredible how quickly the weekend is already going, to be fair. It only feels like about 10 minutes since we had qualifying. But it was Norbert Kish once again on pole position with Jochen Hahn alongside him and Sascha Lenz trying to get amongst the fight as well. There was a scary moment in the opening stages for Steffi Helm, but she managed to get away with it and just shed that little bit of bodywork that was hanging off the truck. Jamie Anderson got ahead of Antonio Albacete in the early stages and then disappeared off up the road, chasing the top couple of drivers, while Steffi Helm tried to recuperate and eventually would go on to finish in 7th position. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez was looking good, while a few others fell by the wayside. Stefan Fass retiring due to a turbocharger failure, and Heinrich Clemens Hecker having a bit of a moment and having to fight his way back through the field. Lucas Hahn and Andre Kurzin were fantastic entertainment further down the pack, despite the positions not changing around. And by the end of the race, it was Sascha Lenz chasing down Jochen Hahn. But Norbert Kish took another victory, his 7th win of the season from 5 pole positions. And he's certainly going to be looking forward to trying to do it all again in the second race of the day. But don't forget, with the reverse grid, which we will explain fully in a moment, he's going to be 8th on the grid. But there's some great atmosphere going on right now, and a lot of fantastic sunshine bearing down on Tor Poznań as the trucks make their way to the grid, as Christina rightly pointed out. Hello everybody, my name is Chaz Dracott. Delighted to be commentating on this championship once again this year with Joachim Eberts, the German commentator, and Fonsi Cebrian, the Spanish commentator as well, joining me over on their respective streams. Thank you to all of you that are tuning in so far on the live stream. Very soon we'll be welcoming our wonderful viewers from around the world who watch on television as well. So we will have a separate sort of intro for those in the next couple of minutes or so. But first, let's get the trucks round onto the grid, shall we? You can see there our pace truck and official truck as well. And you can tell by the heat haze that's on show here that the circuit is definitely getting warmer. It's certainly a hotter afternoon than it was this morning as well. There was a lot more wind this morning by the look of it, which seems to have died down. But still, beautiful conditions here on, of course, this championship's first visit to this circuit. Means it's a bit of a level playing field as well. Not everybody knows the score, and not everybody will know the little nuances and details of this circuit. Between the two races, though, obviously, Stefan Fass and his team have been trying to get the turbocharger replaced on his truck. There has been an engine change for Lucas Hahn as well. So they've completely had that engine swapped out. And apparently there was an issue for Jamie Anderson as well, just before qualifying, where the engine was changed on that machine. So it was, apologies, it was the gearbox, wasn't it, that was changed between qualifying and the race. So some technical gremlins for some of our teams so far today. Hopefully no more of that as the race weekend goes on, but of course it's always entertaining for us. We don't have to sit here and obviously fix the trucks, but still we get the added excitement of potential issues being thrown at these teams that don't just relate to driver performance or any sort of mistakes that happen on the circuit. There's John Newell making his way round. He's going to be hoping for 0 mistakes in this race, because last time out he was under attack from Heinrich Clemens Hecker for the majority of the race and unfortunately did not beat the German to the line. So he's going to want to try and grab a few more points from this one compared to his earlier encounter, as they all make their way towards the grid now. It's good to see that Stefan Fass's team, Tank Pool 24, have managed to get his truck back out onto the circuit. So he's going to be ready to go for the second race of the day, which is going to be round 10 of the championship, the 10th race this season already from the 32 that we're going to be having. 8 race meetings with 4 individual races at each. And we've got a wonderful calendar as well lined up for you this season. Unfortunately, we didn't go to the Hungaroring, which was called off earlier in the season, but we are not even halfway yet at Tor Poznań. The halfway mark of the season will be reached after the next race meeting, which will be on the 15th and 16th of July at the Nürburgring in Germany. We then head to Most at the end of August, and then in the middle of September we go to Zolder on the 9th and 10th. And then we have our usual back-to-back race meetings to complete the season, which will be at Le Mans and Jarama. It's a very exciting time for the championship, a lovely time of year as well. Well, you never quite know what you're going to get from the conditions. That's what certainly makes those last 2 race meetings of the season very interesting. The drivers and teams have a lot to deal with back-to-back. And Christina has a lot to deal with down there on the grid. She's certainly been kept busy this weekend.
Absolutely, and absolutely adore that. So, Antonio Albacete, second race of this weekend, and it's getting hotter and hotter. How are the conditions for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's getting hotter, but I hope it is better than this morning, the first race, because we have a problem with the rear anti-roll bar, you know, it's broken. And that's why by the middle of the race it was really bad, you know, the handling of the track was really, really bad. So the tires suffer a lot. So I hope that we can recover this problem and we have not many stress in this race. But it's going to be tough, yeah, for sure.
Reverse grid always means a bit more stress, to be honest, because lots of people are going to overtake. How do you manage that? Stay out of trouble or trying to push through?
Yeah, for sure, we will try to push through, you know, but I think that everybody's been very fast this weekend, you know, it's a new track, so everybody's quite fast, and I think that also Lucas and Steffi will be faster, and then I have Jamie, who's been very fast in the first race, and Rodriguez, that is very fast, so I don't know. Let's see, but it's going to be interesting.
Thank you very much. Absolutely, it's going to be interesting. And who's the fast speaker? Yeah, Chaz, you are.
Thanks very much, Christina. Yeah, another very neutral outlook by Antonio Albacete. You know, he just takes each race as it comes. He doesn't make too many plans about what he's going to do, because at the end of the day in motorsport, you never know quite what is going to go on. But it's great to know, actually, what the issue was there, which is lovely to see, because I mentioned at the end of the last race that we wanted to see what the problem was. So the rear anti-roll bars basically unbalancing the behaviour of the truck, let's say, over that rear axle, which is all important for getting the power down. You can see there some of the fans have found their way to some of the metal railings around the circuit. That's actually, I believe, on the inside of where the karting circuit is. So that's effectively become the infield for the circuit. You can see some of the other barriers there as well. They do tend to move fans away further from the circuit at a lot of the venues that we go to. Obviously, the size of these trucks and so on, the weight of them as well. You don't want any contact with barriers to be causing any issues and obviously causing any damage or unnecessary risk to our wonderful circuit goers, the fans themselves. But we look forward to this second race of the day, and I'm sure Antonio Albacete looks forward to a chance at being able to get maybe a bit of, I don't want to say redemption, because there's nobody really that he's sort of trying to redeem himself against, but it's just making sure that he gets some more points back on the board, I guess, and that's the important thing really in the championship. It's all about the bigger picture here. It's not like you win a race and then go through to another round like a knockout tournament or anything. It's all about making sure that you score points all the time. And we've seen a number of drivers in the past come through from fantastic recoveries from poor starts to their season. So we know that Antonio is the sort of guy that can turn that around. He doesn't need to this time, though. This season, he's had a really good start to his campaign, and he hopes to continue on with these strong performances. I'm told that in just a second's time, we're going to be welcoming our TV viewers to our wonderful show. So I'm going to go quiet for just a moment, and we'll welcome them internationally to Tor Poznań.
Dzień dobry, ladies and gentlemen around the world. We welcome you here for the first time in Poland to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It is so exciting to be here. We're ahead of race number 2. We do have a reverse grid, which means who ended up on first position after the first race is right now on 8th position, and who ended up on 8th is right now in the front row with us here right now. And you will always be in the front row with us supporting the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And since Poland is an important logistic hub in Europe, it's absolutely a logical step for the series to expand in this new market. And we do celebrate it with a band, obviously, celebrating former race drivers. But we want to talk right now to our contestants here, and we want to talk to Lucas Hahn. Let's have a look. Oh, there are small mini race drivers. Hello, Lucas. So as you can see, he's got his helmet on, which means Jochen Hahn, but is of course his father, the 6-time champion. And this is Lucas Hahn competing for the Promoters Cup. Ihr habt ja die Maschine noch ändern müssen, ne? Wie schnell ging das?
Yeah, in the last lap, last race, or in the first race, I got some issues with the engine. And after that, we analyzed it really quickly, and the whole team helped me or help us to fix the problem, and now we are here on the grid, and I'm really happy that the team do it so quickly.
How many minutes? We do see the pictures right now. Did it take to just swap the complete engine and then enter the gearbox again?
I think they swap it in 1.5 hours, and yeah, 1.5 hours, it's a quick time to change your engine on a big machine like these trucks.
Absolutely amazing. So you're competing from the first row. What are you hoping for?
Yeah, now I need to be concentrated, and I'm focused on myself, and yeah, I will focus. I will look that I have a good start and I bring the race home with the first place.
Good luck then. Thank you very much, Lucas Hahn with the number 22. And oh, look, mini race drivers.
Yes, indeed, that there, Lucas's little one, always attending the race meetings as well. And hello, everybody. My name is Chaz Draycott. Delighted to be commentating again this year on the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. I'm based in the UK for this weekend, but will be on site for the following race meeting at the Nürburgring. But it's still great to be able to soak up the atmosphere and enjoy the fun from here remotely. This is the circuit that we're racing at this weekend. As Christina said, it's the first visit to this championship, to this circuit for our championship. And this 4-kilometre circuit with 14 corners is a big, big test. Down there at the bottom left of your track map at radar, turns 11, 12 and 13. The drivers have so much going on. They really need to be careful through there. We have a great shot of them coming out of that corner down towards the final turn known as last right. We've got Big Pan as well, turn 1, which is a big, difficult corner. A lot of momentum needs to be maintained through there. And there's some heavy braking zones down to Devil Smile and Small Pan as well. And even the right-left section at the bottom of the map there, down at Oaks, is a big challenge too. There's so many elements to this circuit that I really love watching, especially the way the trucks behave through here. We are going to go back down to Christina, though. She's going to have another interview lined up for us.
Yes, I'm standing here with Steffi Harm, and she's competing from the first row. You had some little difficulties throughout the series. We are now at round number 3. What are you hoping for? What are your expectations?
You know, the race number 1 was not like I expected, because I hoped that I can maybe win a position, but I made a mistake in the first corner, so I lose a position. And now I hope that we get a good start. Maybe be possible to overtake Lucas, and for sure finish on the podium, and better the win, for sure.
Absolutely. So one turn is called the Witch, the other turn is called the Devil's Smile. So they're very, very narrow. It's very interesting. So what does that mean for the reverse grid? Where's going to be the action? Maybe behind you?
Yeah, you know, it's the reverse grid is always special, and here the track is very difficult to overtake. So if you don't make a mistake, maybe you can be half second or 1 second slower, but you don't find a way through. So I hope that they will fight and don't come back to the front so fast. So maybe that we can make a gap and stay in front. That would be great.
Thank you very much. So stay out of trouble. Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, easier said than done in a truck racing championship, no matter what. But still, it's going to be a great race, and we wish the best to Steffi Halm, of course. There's going to be a lot for her to focus on during this race. There's going to be a lot of people trying to make their way further forward through the field and push through past anybody that they can. And these reverse grid races are always exciting, always gloves off as well. So as Christina mentioned before, the top 8 finishers from the earlier race will basically be reversed on the grid. There was a Ryanair 737 just there, wasn't there, right behind the trees? I was just looking down at my track map just a moment and then suddenly turned up and looked up and there was an aircraft. We are right next to the airport here at Poznań actually as well, almost parallel to it, so you will see a couple of aircraft about. You'll also see, speaking of flying around, this thing, the Ford F-Max on its inspection lap. Ford have sent us another 2 of their beautiful F-Maxes for our paddock and for the championship this year. We have this one which does all of the inspection laps in this gorgeous orange and black livery with the big strikes along it, but there is also a blue and white one as well that does spend most of its time within the innovation camp here at the championship with Goodyear. So it's great to have the support from Ford Trucks. Thank you very much to them for providing these F-Maxes, and obviously it's a great way to be able to use the machine as well to do these inspection laps. What our driver will be doing right now is just heading around the circuit at quite a high pace, to be fair. It may not look like it because of the size of the thing, but it is quite a high pace, I have to tell you, just to make sure there's no spillages, no debris, nothing on the circuit that could cause any harm to any of the drivers or their machines or affect the racing in a negative light. We have to also think about the fact there's a lot of dust around on the circuit today, and one driver that actually dealt with a lot of that in race 1 was Andre Kurzim, and he is with Christina.
Our English commentator said you dealt already with lots of dust throughout the first race. How was that?
Yeah, we have not a pace for the race 1. Our pace 1 was not optimal, and we have some decision between Steffi and.
So we're going to finish the interview very quick. As you can see, doors getting closing, and this is as close as we get right now here, and we're off.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Christina. Thank you very much indeed. But yes, it's time to clear the grid now and get ready for the second race of the day, which is going to be round 10 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Bit of a change to proceedings here, though. We have our Iveco S-Way making its way around the circuit, the bio-LNG-powered Iveco S-Way. But this machine, unfortunately, is too tall to fit under the bridge near the end of the lap here between turn 13 and 14. So this machine still gets taken around to do its own inspection lap, basically, to still show off the beauty that it is. And, of course, the bio-LNG sustainability that can be helped back into the industry. And obviously this championship provides a good platform for everyone to test out these technologies. And this is one of the amazing bits of technology that we have on offer here in the series. But yes, the Iveco S-Way, a little bit too tall, unfortunately, for the bridge here at Poznań. It wouldn't get under that thing either, to be fair. So it does its own lap, and then where the karting circuit is, just off turns 8 and 9, it will then make its way back through into the paddock from there while the field heads around. We do have another vehicle from Iveco. We have an Iveco Daily, which Frank the Tank, the legend that is, will be driving. And he's still going to be leading the field away. He certainly got a feel for the machine on the earlier lap and left the field for dead, actually, around the first couple of corners, then had to wait for them. But there is the gorgeous S-Way. I've had many a ride in that thing around the circuits that we visit in this championship, and it's no slouch at all. And it's beautifully kitted out inside as well. The interior is stunning, and there's so many mod cons in there just to make life a lot more pleasant as a driver, and even as a passenger, I do have to say. But there is our field. Everybody getting ready to go. There's Rolf Werner on the left-hand side of your screen, I should say. Making his way off the grid now after giving everything a final looking over. The 1-minute board is shown near the front of the grid. And engines have been started and trucks will be ready to go in just a moment. So looking at the grid then, it's going to be Lucas Hahn on the left-hand side of your screen in truck number 22, teammate and son of Jochen Hahn, of course. But funnily enough, in the teams championship this season, it's Steffi Halm that is actually teammates with Jochen. Lucas, his son, is only a race-by-race entrant, so we will not have him at every round of the championship. but he's a very exciting addition to say the least. He won a race outright at the Nürburgring last year, and it was a beautiful scene as he took the checkered flag, and with his father on the circuit with him as well. It was all very emotional and a great time to be around the championship. It was a great weekend at the Nürburgring, and we look forward to another one. But Steffi Halm on the front row, making it 2 Ivecos on the front row. With them behind them got José Eduardo Rodriguez and Antonio Albertetti, the Portuguese driver, alongside the Spaniard. Both of them impressive in their own ways. José Eduardo Rodriguez, very impressive in the fact that he's still pretty much brand new to all of this in this championship, and still fantastic. So Lucas Hahn on pole, Steffi Halm alongside, then the second row as described, José Eduardo Rodriguez and Antonio Albertetti. A relative newcomer to the championship alongside an absolute legend of. And then behind we have Jamie Anderson in 5th position. He's going to be alongside his teammate as well, Sasha Lenz. Those two teaming up this season as Team Lowenpower. Behind them we have the first 2 finishers from race 1. Jochen Hahn in 7th place and Norbert Kisch in 8th position. Looking to try and get another weekend where he wins all 4 races. Can he do it again? Andre Kurzim is next up, and Mark Taylor starts in 10th position after taking his second Promoters Cup podium of the season. Louis Requenco will start in 11th place with Heinrich Clemens Hecker in 12th position. And then behind them on row 7 of the grid we have John Newell alongside Jonathan Andre. And on the back row, on row number 8, in 15th position, we do have Stefan Faas. He is there at the back of the shot after having a turbocharger fail on him in the first race. Luckily, the team were able to get it fixed and get him back out there. They didn't have any longer than anybody else, though, to get the truck repaired, so hats off to them. It wasn't like because he retired, he was suddenly in the pit lane and ready to have it all fixed. The truck had to stay by the side of the circuit until after the race was finished. So they didn't get a longer amount of time to fix anything, or more allowance or anything like that. But again, the way these teams work and the effort that they put in over the course of a weekend is colossal, and it's so interesting to see how quickly they all get things fixed and get things sorted. It really is a joy to behold with this championship. And it's not only that the teams all work quickly on their own either. There's a fantastic sense of camaraderie and togetherness with all of the teams in the paddock. There will be an engine swap going on, and you'll see at least 2 or 3 teams around the back of the truck that's being worked on. It's awesome to watch. And everybody wants to make sure we have as many trucks running as long as we can. So if anyone has any issues, then they all pool together to fix it. So then, 2 Ivecos on the front row, and then we have 4 MANs behind waiting to try and pounce. But it's going to be Lucas Hahn in his first race weekend of the season on pole position. He's alongside Steffi Halm. And round 10 of the 2023 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from Tor Poznań is underway. And Lucas Hahn gets his foot down on the right-hand side of the grid. He's going to have the inside line into turn 1, and he's already cleared Steffi Halm. She's defending from José Eduardo Rodriguez down the inside. Oh, there's a big old push. There's a big push, and Antonio Albertetti's off. I think Jamie Anderson's gone flying off as well. No, it's Sasha Lenz. He's gone straight on. Antonio's gone straight on, and so too has José Eduardo Rodriguez. I think it all checked up in front of him, not expecting it to stop that quickly. Norbert Kisch has been off the road as well. Not sure if there's damage to Sasha Lenz or anybody else. Looks like somebody stayed off the road. I think Antonio Albertetti had a lot of damage on the front. Anderson's 3rd, Kurzim's 4th, Jochen Hahn's up to 5th place. Taylor was down the inside of Louis Requenco for just a moment there. But 3 of them went flying off in a straight line. Luckily, you almost get to the border before you hit any barriers here, as now Heinrich Clemens Hecker is off the road on the exit of turn 3 in towards turn 4. Very lively in the middle of the field already. There is Mark Taylor ahead of Stefan Faas. John Newell in there as well with Norbert Kisch down the inside. Norby sends it into turn 6, very late on the brakes. You can bet he's going to be determined now, more than ever, to make it forward in the field. As Jonathan Andre's been off the road in the background. He's been mugged by the rest of the field. Antonio Albertetti goes through, so too does Hecker. José Eduardo Rodriguez around the outside. But that all started there with Antonio Albertetti going into the back of José Eduardo Rodriguez, didn't it? It looked like Steffi Halm defended the inside line to make sure José Eduardo couldn't go through. Antonio then slotted in behind him, and there was a huge check-up. I'm not sure if Antonio got a push himself, but there was big contact and multiple trucks going straight on, but it's still the two Ivecos that started on the front row at the front of the field. It's Lucas Hahn, Mark Taylor, and then Stefan Faas in the Promoters' Cup as well. You can see that with the little P next to their truck number on the left-hand side of your screen. But behind Taylor, we've then got Faas, Kiss, Newell, Alberthetti, Hecker, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Lenz, Jonathan Andre, and then Louis Requenco has actually dropped all the way to the back as well. I think he may have had contact with Heinrich Clemens Hecker at one point, maybe even Mark Taylor, because they were all together after the argy-bargy at the first couple of corners. But it's Lucas Hahn still leading as everybody kicks up the dust out of turn 1. Don't forget the counter in the top left of your screen tells us how many laps we've completed. So we're already on lap 2. Apparently the incident at turn 1 is under investigation, just to see who was involved and who caused what, who, where, why and when. The field now makes its way into turn 4. Jochen Hahn already up into 5th place after starting 7th on the grid. He certainly gained a bit from that. Norbert Kish is back into 8th position already, actually. I think he's just got past John Newell as well, so that may become 7th. Sorry, he's gone past John Newell. I think he might have just gone past Stefan Faas as well. As there goes Jochen Hahn down the inside. Throws it up the inside of Andre Kurzim. John Newell has got past Stefan Faas. He wants to get onto the Promoters' Cup podium and has done so for now. It looked like a bit of argy-bargy in the background, though. They've all kept it together. There's the number 11 machine, the Don't Touch Racing truck of Andre Kurzim. We've got this quintet leading the way at the moment, and then quite a gap back to Mark Taylor. He's not necessarily holding anybody up, but there's just so much battling going on in the middle of the pack that nobody can really break away. It's Newell now ahead of Alberthetti, who's gone past Stefan Faas. Sasha Lenz is in there ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. There's Jonathan Andre at the back of the field. Told you that these reverse grid races are lively, but that first corner incident will be the main talking point from the day, that's for sure. That's unless something more dramatic happens in the later stages. But there is Lucas Hahn. 2 laps completed now here at Poznań, and he's got a decent gap at the front over Steffi Hahn. We'll continue to look at the lap times. It's 2 minutes 0.2 for Lucas, and he's getting away from those behind him as well. He's 2/10 quicker than his father. His father, of course, has a bit of a battle going on of his own, though, with Andre Kurzim, so he's not completely out of the woods. He's not had a full representative lap. Norbert Kish now pushing on. It looks like there's quite a lot of dust. Maybe a little bit of grass or something in the grill on the front of Norby's machine, but not too much to upset it. But now down into turns 3 and 4, 2 of the heaviest braking points on the circuit. We've got Mark Taylor now trying to hold on ahead of Norbert Kish. The more defence that happens over these races, with people trying to defend from Norby, sort of delays him getting further to the front. It's almost inevitable that he will get to the front, but it delays it when people are defending as he goes down the inside. I don't think he was actually going to send it there, was Norby, but Mark obviously broke a lot earlier than he expected him to, and Norby found the gap and went down the inside. Mark was fair as well, gave him a lot of the room. But now down to turns 9 and 10, high-speed corners here. Some of the hardest corners, really, to carry these trucks through are the higher speed ones, because there's so much precision needed, and it's so difficult to slow them down. If you do overdo it into a corner here, you've really, really killed your momentum. You've got to think about the physics that apply in any sort of motor racing and amplify them a lot for this sort of racing with these trucks. Jochen Hahn up to 4th place. Apparently there was an incident between Sasha Lenz and number 25, which is Heinrich Clemens Hecker. I think there must have been contact as they were battling further down the order. There's Alberthetti behind Newell. There is Sasha Lenz trying to get past Stefan Faas now as well. Norbert Kish once again on a charge forward in the field. We've had a black and white flag for Jamie Anderson at turn 10, which is for hitting one of the penalty markers and going outside of track limits. So So he's just pushing his luck a little bit too much through there. Keeping it clean otherwise, though, are all of our trucks with their 100% renewable HVO diesel engines. As well, Lucas Hahn, a little bit of a wobble there as he came out of turn 5. Clips the dust on the outside. Hopefully not going too deep into turn 6, but, well, I eat my words. He did go too deep into turn 6. The rear axle just getting away from him slightly there. Gives him quite the slingshot off the corner. But Steffi Halm is going to be hoping to take the race lead here. Jamie Anderson's waiting in the wings as well, and Jochen Hahn, he's going to be cheering his son on from here, but there's going to be a bit of, what do they say, a conflict of interests, because he's going to want to cheer on Steffi Halm, because Steffi's his teammate, and it's big points for the team's championship, but also he'll want his son to win another race as well. So we'll have to see what the situation is there. And apparently there's no further action for the incident down at turn 1. Thank you to Daria, who's providing all of the updates from race control. She's just let me know that there is nothing else to be said about that first corner incident. So clearly just a racing incident. A case of drivers just being very close to one another, all trying to push the limits and maybe overdoing it slightly. But a lot of them now will be just trying to hit the reset button, dial it into the computer, boop boop de doop, and off they go. And get everything under control. Control Alt Delete and just get their minds back in the game, because that's the worst thing, is when you have an incident like that, you can't dial yourself back into a rhythm and get underway and get back to your ultimate pace, you know. It's one of the best things in motorsport, is when you get the fairy tale of a driver having a bad time and then managing to get their way back through the field and, you know, overcome that sort of challenge mentally. That's what it's all about. Look at the top 4, though. Soon to maybe become the top 6 if Norbert Kish can push Andrei Kurzim up to this quartet. Jochen Hahn is hanging off the back of it a little bit, though. Lucas Hahn seems to have opened up the gap again to Steffi Halm. Last time round, it was a 1:59.972 for Lucas Hahn. Steffi Halm did a 2 minutes .010, and Jamie Anderson was quicker than her, actually. So, yeah, it's certainly close between the three of them in terms of their lap times at the moment. Norbert Kish has the lap record, obviously, after the first race. It was a 1:57.956, so he's about 2 seconds quicker than the drivers are going right now. He's done his best lap of the race on the previous lap, which is a 1:58.749, but even that is 9/10 of a second off his lap record that he set in the previous race. Mark Taylor's doing well up there in 7th position, 2nd in the Promoters' Cup. John Newell currently 3rd in that category with 8th place overall. But look at this now. Andrei Kurzim coming under pressure from Norbert Kish. He's literally going to be screaming, "Don't touch" at him, as is the team name. And you can see them all, look, fanning out there. In case you didn't hear me explaining it earlier on, you get no benefit from sitting behind the truck in front of you. There's not really any point slipstreaming them. All you're going to be doing is heating up your own engine for the sake of nothing, because the trucks have to do less than 100 miles an hour or 160 kilometers an hour. They are not allowed to overspeed based on safety concerns. Obviously, these are 5-ton racing machines with 1,200 horsepower and nearly 6,000 newton meters of torque in most cases. You don't want them to be doing more than 100 miles an hour. Andrei Kurzim hasn't defended the inside line there, and Norbert Kish has gone late on the brakes. He's thrown it up the inside into turn 3. I would have expected Andrei to have seen that one coming a mile off there, and out of the dust cloud comes Baloo. And Norbert Kish makes another move and heads up into 5th position now. He's back into the top 5 behind Jochen Hahn, kicking up all of the dust. It's like a massive sandstorm here at Poznań. It's incredible. I think the last time we had any issues with dust like this, it's not really that much of an issue, but the last time it was that prominent was Slovakia Ring last year, where it was over 40 degrees Celsius pretty much all weekend. And the whole circuit was completely dried out, and there was no wind at all, so the dust was just floating in the air. It wasn't being blown away anywhere or moving away from the circuit. But right now, Norbert Kish is on the move, and hoping to catch up to Jochen Hahn in front of him. We're just about halfway through this race now, into the second half actually. We've completed 5 laps and we're on the 6th lap of the race. You can see the field there filtering their way through turns 9 and 10. There is Jochen Hahn just on the left of his shot, then Norbert Kish coming through with Andre Curzin behind. Mark Taylor's doing well as well. Looking at lap times actually, Mark Taylor, well I suppose Curzin was overtaken and battling on the previous lap, but Mark Taylor was actually 0.7 of a second quicker than him, and he's gone into the 159s, and Andre Curzin hasn't, so Taylor's clearly unlocked something here with this circuit. He did get a black and white flag a lap ago. There's one going out there for Stefan Fass, truck number 24. That'll just be for track limits, as he tries to defend from Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. And you've got Heinrich Clementecker at the back of the pack there. Lucas Hahn doing a good job at the moment, though, leading the way. It'd be amazing for him to take a race victory in his first weekend back in the championship. He's always very complimentary of the truck that his father and the team prepare. They do an amazing job with those Iveco S-Ways. They go like stink. But luckily they don't stink when they go, because it's 100% renewable HVO diesel in these race trucks. I'm getting bad at them, aren't I? It's 100% renewable HVO diesel, though, which reduces the emissions by over 90% and is a massive step forward in the sustainability measures that this championship takes towards going carbon neutral. And of course making sure that we can still go truck racing in the future. A lot of people look at truck racing and just think that they're diesel guzzling machines that are in no way helpful for the environment. But they really could not be more wrong, to be honest. Top 4 still pretty much together. 2.3 seconds covered them last time they crossed the line, and it's Lucas Hahn, Steffi Halm, Jamie Anderson, and then Jochen Hahn. And now they just filter their way through once again. Turns 9 and 10. Very, very difficult part of the circuit, actually, because of how high speed they are. Like I said before, it's not always the slowest corners, and getting a good run out of them that is the tough point of a track like this. It's keeping the momentum, keeping it nice and tidy through fast corners, especially when you have a weight transfer in the middle of it as well. There's a lot of weight to transfer in these things. Steffi Halm really pushing through that final corner there. It's called Last Right, the 14th corner of the circuit, as they go flying down the start-finish straight once more. Love that shot, just to see how far they travel down the long straight here. I'm really enjoying this circuit so far. I mean, I'm obviously not one of the drivers. I'm not out there taking part in these races, but it's fantastic to watch. The scenery is gorgeous as well. It's a very winding, flowing circuit. The trucks really do look at home here, actually, don't they? They're taking this circuit in their stride. Now, the question is going to be, can Jochen Hahn get ahead of Jamie Anderson before Norbert Kish closes up to him and make it an all-Iveco podium? I can't remember the last time we saw one where it was all Ivecos, actually, because it would have had to been, most likely it would have been Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm and Andre Curzin. Lucas Hahn was only with us for a couple of race meetings last season, so I don't think he would have been up on the podium there. I'm just thinking back now whether we have had one or not. I can't think back to one where we've had an all-Iveco podium, so Jochen Hahn's going to see that potential opportunity, and it would be amazing for him to share the podium, not just with his son, but obviously to share it with Steffi Halm as well, his teammate, and all fellow Iveco drivers. And we'd all love to see it as well, I'm sure. We don't have favourites in this championship, or I'm not allowed to have favourites up here in the commentary box. But it would be a very popular result. Look at John Newell there, holding off Antonio Albertetti and Sasha Lenz. He's doing a fantastic job. Inside the top 10 in 8th place. He's after those overall championship points. Andre Curzin still under pressure from Mark Taylor as well, by the way. Mark Taylor's still a couple of tenths of a second faster than him each lap. We're just completing lap 8 now, so we're going to go on to lap 9 out of 11 here at Tor Poznań, and this is the perfect scenario for Lucas Hahn, because if Jamie Anderson starts to have a go here at Steffi Halm, then the two of them are going to hold each other up, aren't they? Now, that's an interesting flag to see going out. We've got Jonathan Andre, and was that Antonio Albertetti? Was that number 23 that was being shown the black and orange flag there? Number 23 and 66 being shown the black and orange flag for smoke. Now, there is a black smoke rule in the championship, and they do have lambda sensors that detect, obviously, the mixture of the fumes that do come out of the exhaust, and if they do exceed certain statistics and certain values, then the trucks are asked to be brought in and have the problem fixed, because they don't want any harmful chemicals being thrown out, of course. Now, I don't know where Lucas Hahn's race lead has gone, but he's mucked up the first sector somewhere, and Steffi Halm is suddenly all over him, and Jamie Anderson all over her, and then Jochen Hahn all over him, and then Norbert Kish all over him. This is a real quintet for the race lead now, and you can bet, and I'll bet as well, I'm not much of a betting man, but I will bet that Jochen Hahn is going to be the first one to lose a position here. No disrespect to Jochen, nothing on his driving ability, but Norbert Kish will suddenly have seen all of this close up, and he will be thinking, right, let's get the gloves off and let's crack on here. Let's get on with this. Jamie Anderson still spoiling that all-Iveco podium as such. I've actually just had a message off Jamie's social media manager saying he thinks it'll be an Iveco podium and an MAN, and I'm sure that he will certainly be keeping his fingers crossed as well now as they all concertina together. Look at that, Norbert Kish already looking down the inside once more. And Jochen Hahn closing in on Jamie Anderson on the brakes, but look at Norby. Watch that red and white machine at the back of this pack. He's going to focus on the exit out of the corner. We're going on to lap 10 out of 11 now, the penultimate lap of the race. And still the black and orange flag out for trucks 66 and 23. That is Jonathan Andre and the number 23 of Antonio Albacete. And there is Antonio coming into the pits. That's devastating stuff. You can see the team there actually just to the right-hand side of shot. Now what Lucas Hahn wants here is for Jamie to start having a go at Steffi. And then for Jochen to try and hold off Norbert Kish and for Norby to have a go at him. This is all big battling now for the race lead and podium positions. And there is the truck being brought in for Antonio. He's having a bad day at the office. Oh, Norby throws it up the inside of Jochen Hahn. That's one tick in the box for the perfect scenario for Lucas Hahn, though. Norby throws it up the inside. Jochen says, not on your life, sunshine. How does the back of this thing look? And he continues on. There's the rest of the field filtering through. There's a bit of a gap now between John Newell and Sasha Lenz. But it looks like Taylor and Newell are going to share the podium in the Promoters' Cup. We've got one more lap to go after this then. Lucas Hahn still leading the race. He took his first ever outright victory at the Nürburgring last year. It was an incredibly emotional time. But if he can return to the series and do this in his second race back this year, it would be awesome. Really awesome. Like I say, he's a lovely lad, is Lucas. Really top guy as well. And it'd be a great win for his newborn as well, his young'un. As right now, Jamie Anderson is starting to put the other tick in the box now, isn't he? He's attacking Steffi Halm for second place. Looks like Steffi's losing the pace here to Lucas at the front of the pack. And Lucas is certainly looking like he's now feeling the positivity. He's really channeling it and he's pushing on. What is Norbert Kish going to do in the background, though? Is he going to have a dive down the inside of Jochen Hahn? No, he's not going to go for it this time round. He's going to, again, focus on the exit of the corner and make sure he gets a run out of there and push down the straight. But, of course, they hit that 100 miles an hour brick wall. And as we go on to the final lap then, it's Lucas Hahn, Steffi Halm, Jamie Anderson, Jochen Hahn, Norbert Kish. Andre Kurzim has had a black and white flag apparently for turn 9. He stays in 6th place. Taylor is 7th, 2nd in the Promoters' Cup. Newell is 8th, 3rd in the Promoters' Cup. Sasha Lenz down in 9th. Will get 2 points for his trouble finishing there. You can bet that Norbert Kish is going to try and set up a move into the final couple of corners here, though. He's not having a go at Jochen Hahn yet. He's waiting and waiting and waiting, playing it very patiently. Rest of the field is pretty spread out at this moment in time, so it's all about this lot. It's all about this quintet at the front. Are there any opportunities now for Steffi Halm to really have a go at Lucas Hahn? I think she's too far away. I don't think she'll have enough momentum to do anything down into turn 13 either. Lucas has just got to keep it tidy. He's just got to keep it tucked in. Make sure that he doesn't overdo it anywhere. Jamie Anderson seems to have fallen away from Steffi Halm a bit now. Has she been saving the tyres slightly for these final moments? There's so many elements being juggled up in the air right now. So much to think about. Norbert Kish having a go at Jochen Hahn. That's taking the pressure off the top three. So these three can all do battle now and not worry so much about Jochen trying to take advantage and hop through. But the thing is, you don't want to overcompromise yourselves. All three of them would want a podium. And I think as this season, actually, it'd be the first podium for all of them. It would be. Steffi's not been on the podium yet this season. Neither has Lucas. Obviously, it's his first meeting. And neither has Jamie Anderson. They're going to come round the final couple of corners, though. And it looks like it's going to stay as it is. Jamie's going to look down the inside of Steffi, but I don't think he needs to take the risk. Just think of the silverware, Jamie. But think of the winner's trophy for Lucas Hahn. He's done it for a second time in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Lucas Hahn wins at Tor Poznań. Fantastic victory indeed. Lights to flag for the young German. Steffi Halm joins him in an Iveco 1-2. Jamie Anderson makes it a third place and proves his social media manager right, and proves me wrong, of course. Jochen Hahn finishing fourth, Norbert Kish fifth, and begin the drifting for Lucas Hahn. Very well done, Sunshine. How cool is that? Fantastic stuff. Lucas Hahn over the moon with that one, and understandably so. You can probably hear the smile on my face from here as well. I'm so pleased for him. So pleased for him. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And to do it lights to flag as well. You know, he hasn't won the race because loads of other people have fallen off. He's won it because he's just led them from the front. And he's led by example. Fantastic stuff. And again, the drifting is just so entertaining in these things. Now, they're 5.3 tons minimum weight, but they have over 3 tons over the front axle. So with a nearly 12-litre single-turbo engine with 1,200 horsepower, you can imagine that kicking the back end out and doing some drifting is a lot more straightforward, but even still, it takes some good effort. That, unfortunately, is Stefan Faas, who has stopped once again. Now, they call that thing the Tank Pool 24 machine, but I don't think it's run for more than 24 hours at the moment. He's really having some reliability issues with it at present, so hopefully they get that sorted, whatever the issue is there. But there's no issues there, is there? Number 22, Lucas Hahn, wins in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship for the second time. And Norbert Kish doing some drifting of his own as well, side by side with Jochen Hahn. 10 championships between that pairing on your screen there. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Great for Steffi Halm as well to finally get rid of all the bad luck that she's had and have that second place finish. She's on the podium once again. And Jamie Anderson, his first podium of the season after moving up into the Titan category for 2023. That is a very popular result. And 2 British drivers on the podium in the Promoters' Cup as well. Mark Taylor gets his 3rd podium in the category. And John Newell gets his 5th appearance on the top 3 steps for 2023. Well, that was an absolute barnstormer, wasn't it? A fantastic race at the front, great battling, so many opportunities for drivers to just overdo it, just overstep the mark slightly, and they all kept their heads and they all played it cool. And 10 championship points go the way of Lucas Hahn, and I imagine we may see a very similarly emotional scene when his father congratulates him. Jochen Hahn, of course, finishing in 4th position in that race, just behind seeing his son take the race victory. And there we go, there's the celebration. You can hear him smashing it off the rev limiter as well. You've got to love a bit of that. And don't forget, that truck had its engine rebuilt between races as well. And he started from pole position. The team turned it around and he took the race win. Fantastic effort. Absolutely fantastic effort. That's a lovely story, isn't it, to have the fact that the truck had its engine out between races and it turned into a win. Then you have Steffi Halm in 2nd place, a great finish for her as well, and Jamie Anderson, his first podium of 2023. Let's wait and see, though. I say he's a young man. He's a big young man, is Lucas Hahn. He's built like something that I can't say live on air. But he's such a lovely bloke at heart as well. He's always a real bright light in the paddock as well. He's always got a smile on his face, and he'll have a hell of a smile on his face now. There you go. Fist skyward, and a very, very happy Lucas Hahn. Awesome to see it. You love to see it. Big hugs and handshakes for the team as well. And there's his girlfriend as well. She'll be so proud. Proud as punch. And wow, look at that. The windscreen on Jamie Anderson's truck completely smashed in at the front. Now, that's something we couldn't quite see earlier on, but that would have been from the contact down at the first couple of corners, so I'm not sure whether Jamie pushed Antonio or what, but to have the windscreen come in from that high up, obviously he would have hit the front of the... would have hit the rear of the truck in front of him, which is way down low on the ground, so, yeah, not a clue what would have caused that there, but still, incredible damage. Jamie Anderson's team on the left-hand side there, waiting for him to make his way over so they can celebrate with him as well. A third place in their first silverware of the season. And there's Lucas's mum. I'm sure very emotional right now as well. Big smiles and jokes from all of them. I wish I could speak German. I'd be able to translate for you, but I can't. I'm so sorry. And there behind them as well, actually, are Promoters Cup podium finishes. Obviously big fans of the numbers 1 and 8. John Newell finishing in third in the category behind Mark Taylor. He's having a good day today, and so too is Christina, who's soaking up the atmosphere down there.
Yes, I am, and as I can tell you, Chaz, since you asked, the team said to me, so we did our best, and now it was his turn. So you said a massive thank you already to the team. Can you tell our audience how grateful you are for your team?
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the whole team, because they worked so hard in the couple of the last 2 hours, and now they did their job, and now I was in the position to make my job, and I make my job, and I'm here with this first place, and I'm really happy for the whole team, and perfect, grateful.
What an entrance this is for you. You entered right now this race weekend, the third round, and ended up on the first place, on the position on the podium. What does that mean to you personally?
Oh, that mean a lot, you know. Last time when I was driving was at April at our season open test, and yeah, that was my second ride this year, and for that I'm really happy with it. I trained a lot on the simulator, but you know, it's a lot of difference. The simulator and the real track, it's completely different, but I'm really happy to have the first place now in the second race.
And in brand new track right now in Poland, so the venue is new. The fans were cheering up. You entered. How's the opposite of entering? You're going outside from your truck, cheering up to the fans. What does that feel like?
Oh, that feels good, because everybody was also happy with me. You know, they feel the same, and that mean a lot. You know, also the atmosphere here. The fans are really happy, and I hope they enjoy it here.
We do. Thank you very much, Lucas Hahn, and I try to find my words back. Thank you. Up to the podium.
Awesome stuff. Great to hear from Lucas Hahn. Thank you very much, Christina. Wonderful to see the great reaction from the young man taking his second ever win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's Lucas Hahn taking the victory from Steffi Halm and Jamie Anderson, with Jochen Hahn finishing in fourth place and Norbert Kisch rounding out the top 5. Behind him, we had Andre Kurzim in 6th position. Mark Taylor was next up in 7th, and a great finish for him and John Newell after a difficult first race earlier. Sasha Lenz finishes 9th, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez rounds out the top 10. A good recovery by both of those guys after the early contact. Stefan Faas did cross the line but pulled over immediately afterwards. Heinrich Clemens Hecker finishes 12th ahead of Louis Requenco, Jonathan Andre and Antonio Albersetti, unfortunately finishing 2 laps down in the pit lane after apparently breaching the smoke rule. We'll have to wait and see what the outcome of that was. But still, I'm almost out of breath. That was a fantastic race, great entertainment, and like I say, this circuit just really, really hosts some fantastic racing. You know, they really, really do work well around here, these trucks. Lucas Hahn making his way to the podium. So many handshakes and congratulations and hugs and all sorts. Brilliant atmosphere. You love to see it. And it's great as well for our cameramen to get this behind-the-scenes view of it all. So thank you to them. We're very, very pleased to have such shots in the paddock. Even more hugs for Lucas Hahn. There's so many people for him to congratulate, get congratulations from. It's awesome. It's a real feel-good vibe, isn't it? Now he's now making his way around to the podium. So too is Steffi Halm. There's Janine and Dominic rounding up the troops as well, as our cameraman goes through with them. There's some of the team members from John Newell's team as well, NWT Motorsport. And there's Sarah as well, handing out the hats for our drivers. And there they are waiting podium side for their names to be called up. And the top three there in the Promoters' Cup. John Newell deep in conversation there with Mark Taylor as well. Now the announcer has made his way up to the podium. And you're waiting to hear the reaction here for Lucas Hahn. Jamie Anderson gets called up first though, of course. We go in reverse order. Very well done for Jamie. Some silverware for him. He'll be over the moon with that one. Steffi Halm gets second place with her first podium, but listen to the reaction when he calls up Lucas Hahn now. This is going to be a very, very popular result as well.
22 from Germany.
And there you go, this wonderful young man. We really do hope to have him for a full campaign at some point to see how he can challenge for the title. But three of the finest drivers in the series up there on the podium. A great selection of people. Three of the loveliest people you could meet, I tell you. Jamie Anderson receives his trophy. Steffi Halm will now receive her trophy on the left-hand side of the podium as well. Great second place for Steffi that. She really worked hard to try and get ahead of Lucas. Didn't quite get there in the end, but still some silverware to take away from the weekend. And a very animated gentleman as well, giving the trophies away. I love that. Fantastic, fantastic stuff. And there you go. Lucas Hahn receives his trophy for winning the second race of the day here at Tor Poznań.
And now the national anthem of Great Britain.
And here we go. Here's the national anthem of Germany.
Germany.
Apparently. Yeah, he just said the Great Britain there, the announcer did.
Hymn Niemiec.
We just have to wait a moment now while they change the vinyl record over. And then we will get the German national anthem in just a moment. Or at least we hope so. Might see if we can get Lucas to sing it, actually.
Third place, Jamie Anderson.
There is the fantastic audience we have around the podium.
First place, Lucas Hahn. We still wait for the national anthem of Germany. Jamie Anderson, number 33 from Great Britain. Stephanie Halm, 44.
And the announcer there just letting us know again the podium, just in case we hadn't realised by now. But still, there is Jamie's truck in the pit lane, and it looks all dead and quiet now, doesn't it? I've just thrown my pen across the room, sorry. But that was a real belter of a race, wasn't it? So much going on in that one. A great quintet at the front of the pack. And I tell you, this circuit really has thrown up some great racing so far. I can't believe we've already completed day one of racing, though. Don't forget, though, we have 2 more races coming up tomorrow, as well as another qualifying and Super Pole session. So there's still plenty of racing to be done here at Poznań. But I, for one, can't wait to get it all underway again tomorrow. I'm really excited. It's been really good fun. And hopefully it's been just as fun down there in the paddock as well and in the pit lane. I know there's such a great atmosphere that follows this championship all around Europe, and so many wonderful people involved that make it what it is. There's the championship standings after that race. Norbert Kish on 122 points now, clear of Jochen Hahn by quite a margin, to say the least, and then he's comfortable ahead of Antonio Albersetti and Sasha Lenz. Andre Kurzim in 5th place, ahead of Stephanie Halm, aptly on 44 points, her race number tied with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez on the same. Jamie Anderson is now 2 points clear of Stefan Faas. He's having a fantastic start to the season, is Jamie, with John Newell still rounding out the top 10 on 15 points. Behind them in 11th place is Lucas Hahn. He now has 13 points to his name. He's overtaken Mark Taylor, Jonathan Andre, Louis Requenco and Heinrich Clemens-Hecker, who has 6 points to his name so far during his 2023 campaign. But it's Norbert Kish at the top, as it so often is here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And the top 3 drivers from that race, Lucas Hahn, Steffi Halm and Jamie Anderson, they all share the top step of the podium with their trophies and smile for the cameras.
Jamie Anderson, Stephanie Hahn, Lucas Hahn. The first 3 from the truck race, and now the champagne.
Now we're going to get a spray of the champagne. The announcer is going to make a very discreet run for it. And you can bet that Lucas is either going to get drenched here or everybody in the audience is going to get drenched. Yep. Of course, there you go. He deserves every drop of that, does Lucas Hahn. Fantastic result, a great win. And this will be a very well celebrated podium, I can tell you that. 3 lovely people with fantastic teams behind them and a lot of love for them in the paddock here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We'll let you know when that cap comes back down from the moon. As you can imagine, Lucas has got a hell of an arm on him. It'll be burning up in re-entry in a few minutes' time. I think that was Richard Keinberger there who got drenched by Jamie Anderson. He just gives him a nod and a laugh as the Promoters' Cup drivers make their way onto the podium.
Promoters' Cup. The champagne is ready.
And now they get the champagne and the trophies ready on the podium.
Third place, John Newell, number 18 from Great Britain.
John Newell is called up to the podium. His first silverware of the weekend. Very well done to John.
Second place, Mark Taylor, number 81.
And his countryman, Mark Taylor, also joining him on the podium. A great weekend so far for Mark. Some wonderful championship points to his name.
And first place.
Oh, way up, Mark. I was just thinking, just before he went up there, that it looks a bit slippery there because of the champagne that's been sprayed. I hope he's all right. It can be the shock of those sorts of moments. Lucas joins him on the podium. And Lucas, of course, taking the win in not just the race overall, but the Promoters' Cup as well. The trophy's now being presented.
Second place trophy presented by
John Newell gets his 3rd place trophy on the right-hand side of shot. Mark Taylor will get his 2nd place trophy as well. And then Lucas Hahn will collect his 2nd trophy from one race. There's not many championships in the world where you can do that. And Lucas will be over the moon with it.
This is the Promoters' Cup. 3rd place, John Newell. 2nd place, Mark Taylor. 1st place, Lucas Hahn.
And there you go. Some very happy drivers.
And now, the national anthem.
And we'll get the national anthem of Germany this time. And there you go, the national anthem of Germany rings out for Lucas Hahn, and he will now be joined on the top step of the podium by John Newell and Mark Taylor. And they will pose for their pictures, of course. And 3 very, very happy guys there in the Promoters' Cup. Lots of points going their way. And big smiles all around. And more champagne for Lucas Hahn, which I'm sure is going to get blasted into his face by John and Mark. They're both quite the sharpshooters with the champagne. And there you go. Fantastic. Lovely job by the guys. And a great way to end their day here in Poland. Lucas Hahn takes 2 trophies for the Promoters' Cup and the overall race victory. A very popular result, like I've said. Here's the Promoters' Cup standings then after that race. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez still at the top. Stefan Fast claws a few points back, while Mark Taylor now ties with John Newell on 78 points. It's going to be a great battle to see who can be the highest placed Brit this season. Louis Requenco next up on 66 points ahead of Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Jonathan Andre. And then Lucas Hahn has 25 points to his name after just 2 races. So you can bet that with the races he's going to be doing this season, he'll be definitely climbing the order. But as you see now, it's deathly quiet over the circuit as the wind continues to just glance its way across our shot. It's a lovely afternoon in Poland. It's a lovely afternoon where I am in the UK as well for this weekend. And hopefully at one point I will get to visit this circuit. It'll be really cool to see, as it's been a great addition to our calendar so far. So many people have really welcomed it. And the trucks have definitely done it justice, I'd say, as well. The way the racing works around here is top-notch. But let's have a look back, shall we, at some of the finest pictures from that second race of the day. Everybody sort of had their hearts in their mouths knowing that Lucas Hahn's machine had its engine replaced just before the race. So much work went into it, and we were all excited to see whether he could get his second ever win in the series. There was a lot of anticipation, though, as the flags flew before race number 2, race number 10 of the championship. The pace truck S-Way made its way in, so did the Iveco Daily, and as we got underway there was a lot of drama down at turn 1. Antonio Albertetti, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and Sasha Lenz all going straight on, and as the dust clouds formed, it was a very dusty affair for everybody out there. Mark Taylor being overtaken there by Norbert Kish on another one of his trademark charges through the order. But every single lap, the top 5 got closer and closer together, Norbert Kish included, behind Jochen Hahn, with Jamie Anderson ahead of him, then Steffi Halm in second place and Lucas Hahn in first. Antonio Albertetti would end his race in the pits, unfortunately, but it was still great fun to watch as Lucas Hahn took win number 2 of his career and began some fantastic drifting to celebrate. A bit of work between days, though, for Stefan Fast and his team, and hopefully they'll be back out for tomorrow's racing without any major issues. But like I say, one of the most popular podiums of our season so far, with Lucas Hahn on the top, is what we've come out with. But we're going to go back down to Christina, who's got some words for us.
Yes, thank you very much. And we do see the trophy. It's kind of a beauty, this trophy with the number 23 on it. Well, all right. But it's truck racing, the first day here in Poland, and you've been up to the podium. What do you say about this venue here?
Yeah, it's a beautiful venue. The people are really good, the crowds are big, and it's been a great first day, really. A lot of problems with the truck, what we've got to sort tonight, but hopefully tomorrow should be a better day.
So the team is going to work, of course, during the night time. How many hours do you like to spend tonight?
I think there'll be at least 6 hours tonight before they get finished. They had a late one last night as well because we had an axle change last night, and then we got all sorts to change tonight because we're just completely losing traction. So we're over moon with the result from what truck we had.
And you need the traction because this track with lots of turns, and this is also the first turn, very, very interesting. How did you manage to get through?
Yeah, I just seen something happening in front of me, so I backed off at the start and then just went up the inside and got round when all the confusion was going off. So it was quite lucky, really.
So then right now the path is free for you to celebrate with your team then. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do swap the interview guests right now. Mr. Taylor coming up. Thank you very much. Be careful, be careful. It was a bit slippery there on the podium. What happened?
I think it's unreal, really. Starting today and getting 2 podiums, I think it went to my head. I got a bit lightheaded. No, but yeah, it's been a brilliant day for us and all the team and everybody. We've come here not too sure about the track, with being new to Europe, you take everything with caution, and this track has just worked well with the truck and the driving and everything.
Yeah, we talked about the European Championship, that this is special, and for everyone it was special today because Poland, nobody knew what's going to happen today. So how did your team manage to get through?
We just took us time. So you've just got to be cautious, take your time and work for it, and just keep going over the stuff what we've learned this morning on practicing and testing, and just keep pushing on, and it's worked for us. It's been brilliant.
And you know, good news, because we're going to see you tomorrow again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and hopefully it's same again.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the evening. Take your trophy, beautiful trophy with you. And we're really looking forward to the second day here at Tor Poznań. And as you've heard, the celebration is really going great. And yeah, slightly technical problems with the anthem, but we heard the full German anthem then at the end. And we see happy and smiley faces here in the sun in Poland. And that's good news. The good news is that we're going to see each other on Sunday. Please tune in for the qualifying race number 3 and race number 4. We're really looking forward to see you back here with us. And right now we want to show you the best of pictures of day number 1 here at Tor Poznań. The premiere was really, really great. Thanks to our 3 commentators and the whole team making it all possible. Thanks to the crew here at Poznań. So see you tomorrow then. Bye-bye.